Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Katie McKnight. I'm the founder and CEO of Engaging Learners, and you've probably heard about this special brief webinar through our weekly newsletter. And I'd like to introduce two wonderful people. One is Melanie Gentry, and Melanie I know because she and I are in a leadership group together. And I've met her. We walked through different paths. She's in the business world. I'm an educator, so when I don't know business terms, colleagues like her will explain those to me because I don't know. And then David Squires, who is the creator of this tool that I think might be helpful for many of you out there and school districts. Melanie and I got to talk at our last leadership kind of meeting, and she was mentioning this particular tool, and it is a way to monitor possible potential COVID exposure, overall health of employees. And we started talking about its applications for education. And since the pandemic hit in March, I am extraordinarily motivated to just really support my colleagues as much as possible. And I thought this was a fantastic tool that many of you might be able to use in your school district. So we'd like to share with you about the tool, how it's used, and this is going to be a brief webinar, about 15-20 minutes. Melanie, is there anything you'd like to add to that I didn't cover?
No, you did a great job. I just want to add that I'm a business owner, and like Katie said, we have crossed paths through trying to just do things better in a better way. And not only do I know about this product, my company actually uses it. So I'm very aware, and when Katie and I talked, it was just a perfect opportunity for us to really maybe see if we could help districts and schools find a good, safe way to make sure you're taken care of, and we have a way to minimize the issues of anything of this COVID situation that's just throughout our country, throughout the world. So with that, Dave Squires introduced it to me, and it's his program, and I'm helping Katie facilitate it and hopefully help some of you. Thank you.
Yeah, and the bottom line is this, is that, the three of us are really committed to, taking care of educators, supporting our education community, and really taking a lot of this just off of your plate. And I've said this too in many of my webinars, let us just, take something off your plate, and we think this tool can really help you do that. So I'm going to turn it over to David, because he's the mad scientist creator behind this, and I'm going to let him explain the tool and how it works, and also his experience too with Certicler. Several school districts have already adopted it and have used it, and he can talk about that. Just a reminder for those of you who are, may not be as familiar with the GoToWebinar format, you can go ahead and type questions in the question area. I'll be monitoring that. I'm going to be turning off my camera and going on mute, and I will monitor the question area and make sure that we get your questions answered as well. So it's all yours, Dave.
Hi. Start with, when we built Certicler, it was actually our web company, software company, and we also have a contracting company. We're in Michigan, and daily health checks have been required from the very start of the pandemic. And we found the confusion, the cost, the storage, the record keeping to be totally, just a cluster. That's probably the best word I can use. What we looked at though is that we decided to clean it up. And the program was not originally intended for schools, although school districts are now using it. We intended it for business. And we approached it from a business point of view as to how to make it convenient so you don't have to manage, where the employees can manage a lot of everything themselves, where we don't have to nag people, where the system would basically remind people to do their health checks and everything. And we came up with Certicler. Certicler is an easy way to basically manage daily COVID screening and health checks. And it gives, better yet, it gives a full audit trail that you have should the health department, wonder what's going on or something. If you need something, you can show everything that's been happening on it. and it makes it very easy to manage. It starts out with, and I'm going to bring a screen with my cell phone over here, and I'm going to go over to my messages. Is that every morning we basically will text your employee at whatever day, whatever time that you basically tell them that they want to start their work day. And once you set it up, they have control. So if they have an hour drive to work, they can do it when they get up. And they don't have to, it's unlike an app where they got to open an app or anything. We're very proactive. They get a text message from us at a pre-given time. And if they ignore, don't see it, we'll send it 15 minutes later, and then we're going to send it 15 minutes later after that. So they have a total of 3 messages to basically tell them to do a health check. What happens is that they simply will click on it. Now, I've done mine today, and this is mine, which is nice because if you're moving from building to building and someone wanted to validate that you had already passed it, you get a health screen when you click on that link again. But simply put, Certicler, this is the front side of it, is we ask very simple, are you working today, as our first question. It already logs them in. It knows who they are from that link. That link is unique to them. What's also nice about it is that they can actually add that link to their home screen so that they can basically do it any time, even before the reminders come if they want. But what happens is they have control of their account settings. They can choose English, they can choose Spanish, they can decide how they want this to set up. Once it's done, it's all stored. First question we ask is, are you working today? The second question we ask is that your next scheduled reminder, mine is scheduled for 9 a.m. If that's not the case, I can go in here. If I've got the day off, I can set my day that I'm coming back to work next, because your employees all know when they're coming to work. What that does is it relieves the scheduling headache from management if you have people who work partial weeks or their time off is different, because they're setting their own schedule as to when they're working. At this point, I could change the time. But in this case, I'm going to say, yes, I am working that way. The next thing we ask, and it depends on your state. In Michigan, we have to take temperatures. And we can do them at home, but we still have to record them at work. So at this point, we're going to ask to record your current temperature in the space below. Mine today was 98.2. Basically, then it asks all these questions. Now, the questions, understand, when we built Certicler, what's nice about it is it's a framework. If your state, your county has different questions, we can actually handle all that. We can update them. And as things change, because it's a moving playing field, everything can be changed in it to meet the current conditions instantly. And then everything's recorded. The past questions are recorded. All the answers are recorded. Everything is, there's a full audit trail of everything that happens. In this case, basically, I'm not going to go through the questions. You've all seen them before. But as long as they're answering no, that they're showing that I don't have a temperature, and you can choose to ask that question as well as a temperature, we basically have the ability to run through the entire test. In our county, they now have switched the symptoms questions to 2 symptoms in Michigan. One, they want to know if you answer one of the following, and then for prevent false positive, it's any 2 of the following symptoms. But in both cases, I have no. And one question we ask that's actually protection for business is we ask at the time, just for workers' compensation, during the previous day you were at work, did you injure yourself in any way while performing the duties of the company? Or that could be changed to school. What that does is it just protects you, so that makes everything gets reported. At that point, when they submit it, they're clear. What happens on the backside, and that's all it takes. It's only a couple of minutes, not even a minute process, but nobody has to remind them. Nobody has to tell them to do it. We're automatically reminding them. On the backside, what happens is you have total control of everything. In the case of our school district, what we found is that they were doing it with Google Sheets originally. Everyone tries to figure out how to handle it themselves. The biggest issue that came in was where people were answering it. If you have a station where people are answering it, there's privacy issues. There's also issues with storage, and there's issues with ADA that you have to make sure that everybody in the district is answering it, because you can't discriminate against, since it is a health question, everybody does it or nobody does it. In this case, what happens is the first thing we do is when we set up an account, and let me go here. And this will be very quick, but just to show you what you have on here is you have the ability to set, your account. You have the ability to cancel your subscription at any time. There's no long-term contracts on it. In the intro, you have the ability to send an intro to all employees to explain the system to them. You can enable or disable it, so if you want to test things, you can, and then you can save your settings. You can add holidays. What are your holidays that you're not going to have people working that will skip? You can just add them here, given the date, start date, end date. This is just your account screen. As a sponsor, you have the ability, basically, as a sponsor option, and again, this is our company, we have the ability to put in your logo, link it to your school district, anything you want, your events calendar, and that will appear on the bottom of the first screen. When you're setting it up, it's extremely easy. The first thing you have to do is you have to create departments. In this case, we're creating basically, and this is my company here, and I'll show you a school district in just a second, but they did it by building, where you can create each building, each school as a separate department, and that way the principal has access to the information to verify that everybody's checking in and everything like this. But in this case, you create the department, and then once you create the department, you have the ability to manage and set up your employees. We make it extremely easy to set up. You can simply add an employee individually right here where you put in their name, email, address, number of reminder notifications you want them to have, their employee ID if you have one, and the department that they're going to be working for, and then click on the days they're going to be working. If and again, for a school district, if you have one person there, that's a great way. But what's nice is you can actually download a CSV template. And when that template is downloaded, you have the ability to save it. And then when you open it, you have everything you need to basically set everything up to where you can upload a CSV and it'll fill in everything. So you can pretty much set it up in an hour if you have the data available, to where you can put their name, cell number, or email address, because we can use either one, start time that you want their first reminder to go, days they work, and basically set them up as to what type of employee are they, the clerical, are they teaching, are they field staff, are they food service. You have control of that. You have the ability, if you want to make global changes, you can download a CSV of all the employees and you can just edit it and then upload it back up. What's nice about it also is at any time you can email a CSV report of their answers, and it will basically let you do it by a date range. You can check who you want by individual. You can do it by departments. You can set a date range, and you can basically send it to yourself, or if you're being audited or basically the health department requests it, you can send it direct to them so that they know nothing's been tampered with. It comes direct from the system on it. And I got to cancel this. So your employee management is all done from your admin screen. You have the ability to manage questions, to where the questions basically can be changed, edited, order sorted, or anything like that. The only thing that we do is we want to make the changes on the questions because we want to be very careful and that nobody's asking questions that violate any HIPAA rules or any storage rules, because we're very conscious about privacy in our system. But your questions are fully edited and able to be, we can work with you on that to change what you want. You have the ability to manage your notifications. And what a manage a notification is that we also have the ability, because one of the biggest things that we realized in businesses and schools, I'm sure, is getting people, a lot of times there's information that has to come out and people say communication is the worst thing in most organizations. Since we're having everybody look at a screen every day and fill out, that they're reminded to, they click the link, they look at their health check, we can also insert a notification in there letting them know, hey, if you want to update your 401k, we need to know by Thursday. And they have to acknowledge that they've read it, and you have basically a log that everybody has. In other words, everyone's signing the memo. So you can put out either department notices, building notices, or to, for the entire employee staff, exactly an information that you want to validate that they've seen and read. So we put that feature in it since we're saying if we got to do this, let's make the most of it. Now, what's really nice is you have the ability to view your results. On your results, we color code it. Everybody who's cleared basically comes that. In Michigan, we've had a lot of exposure. These people here, in this case, you have options to where you can, have the ability to override a failure if they answered wrong. You can view their failed answers, and you have the ability to do notes. And in this case here, this is one of our programmers basically, or it could be anybody, is that the reason he couldn't answer was he has someone in his household who basically was notified to test for COVID. his daughter was exposed to it, so, or had a sore throat and the doctor wanted to do a test. So until that test comes back, we have a full record of why they're out and how we handled it. And you get the notes are basically stored on a daily basis so that you have basically an audit trail on how the school district or how your business handled it. If they, in this case, basically you have the ability to sort this by name, anything you want. You also have a couple other things here that you can do is I can look back at any date. I can search any date if I'm the administrator. I have the ability to say that for a principal or such, I can give an anonymous, if there's somebody else who needs to see who's there, but I don't want to give them any privacy notes, I can copy an anonymous link. And when I do that, I can send them this to where they can at least view it, but they don't have the ability to make changes to it. We also have a mode that if you're basically restricting building entrances or such, where you're checking people in at the entrance, you can have a kiosk where you have some pads or computers there. They enter their email address or cell phone number. They can answer the questions right there, and it will clear them there. And all you have is a link that you have to put, that they can click on, and you can actually have a kiosk mode for it. What we found, in other words, in our case, this is my school district. When they contact us, they heard of what we were doing through a local business, and they found that it worked on it. But again, they put in their dates. As far as their departments, the way they did it, that worked out very well for them, because this way, what's nice about it is that when you set up your departments, they require a supervisor. The supervisor in this case was the principal of the building. So every morning, the principal, if something isn't filled, if everything is filled out great, everybody passes, no notification is sent to the principal. To the supervisor, but if it isn't, if someone has not filled it out after 3 reminders or they have failed on it, basically they're notified with a report that they basically get sent immediately at whatever, on the time that they've set to where they want to look at it, and they know what they have to deal with for that school, and it's all color coded and available for them. If someone fails it, meaning that they answer no to some of their questions, the person is told to basically stand down, contact their supervisor or HR, and we give them a quick click right on their phone. They have a click to dial number, because we want to actually have that noted so that everything is basically, all the record keeping is in place, and you can instruct that employee as to what you want them to do. And like on an override, it may be something that, we've had situations where people have had woken up, especially in the weather we have now, where they have sniffles or a sore throat, and they answer, yes, I got basically a runny nose, but come to find out they have allergies when the leaves change too. You can question them. You have the ability to basically make your judgment call on that and note it, how you called it and why you called it. And then you can override it if you feel like it. My suggestion, though, is to basically protect the students and safety, the teacher, faculty safety, is do the quarantine, have them get tested, but you have the ability. We've made it as flexible as you need to do it. What's nice about it, again, is that we don't know how long this is going to last, but you can basically use, you can switch into this. Our school district was up and running within a day. We have another school district on it, a little smaller, that was up and running. This school district has over about 1,000 employees in it. Currently, we have thousands of people on Certicler nationwide, but it's just a quick, easy way that it's a framework to be able to manage your daily health checks and employee clearing. Anything else?
Okay, so so if you have any specific questions, you can go ahead and type those in the question area. And this is one of the things that I like about the tool, is that it's very adaptable based on state requirements, also what you might have as far as district requirements, and complying with maybe a COVID plan that you have in your school district as well. The other thing too that maybe also sharing too, the pricing of it, and one of the things that I think is really important too is that you're not signing a contract. You use the tool as long as you need to use the tool, and I think that's a really important point to make as well.
Pricing on it is very simple. It's $2 per employee per month. And we actually offer you the first month. If you find it's not to the liking or anything like that, we will refund everything. Your first month is 100% money back guarantee. and it's no long-term contracts. It can be, if the virus goes away, if vaccine is done and everything goes copacetic in a month or so, you can cancel. There's no penalty, no anything to it. And we have full-time customer service, by the way. I forgot to mention that, available, where we can walk you through anything, and we will be very responsive, same-day response.
There you go. Yeah, and the reviews that you've gotten from your school districts too, they just really have found the tool to be incredibly helpful, and your team at Certicler to just be great to work with. I see this too as a possible tool for parents too, where parents receive the notice on their phone, answer the questions for their child, and send it. So as far as like tracing in schools and school districts, that might facilitate that as well. And that's, the high adaptability of the tool can make that possible. So I just want to give the opportunity, if anybody has specific questions, we will send a follow-up email in about 24 hours, and there'll be a link to the recording. So if you want to watch the information, the overview that David gave, which was really great. And then also, contact information too. You can contact Certicler, and we also have contact information as well. We do have one question, is like, who do districts contact if they want to move ahead and get more info? So we already have some folks who are interested. And gosh, I guess contact Certicler, right? Would that be the best way to do it, or would you like for us to?
They can contact me, Catherine, if you'll put out my information, and they can also contact Dave. But we've got a team that will help them and make sure that we walk you through the front side of it. I also believe that it's something that you can tell your parents that you are proactively making sure their children are as safe as you can make them coming into a school. It's never going to be 100%. And as a mom and with children in high school, and then using this in my company, there's a certain level of me feeling secure that I know my people are coming to work in an environment that I've made as safe as possible, given that I care very deeply about each of them and how they work. So I feel this wasn't a natural extension to schools, and like I said, we are here to help you, and I'll be happy to jump in, and so will Dave. We're very excited about taking this out to a public to help students and people being educated. That's the big thing. I want my children in school.
Yeah.
Melanie's website is trustfes.com, and there's a section on Certicler there. And you can go to certicler.net too, but I'm gonna basically be sending everything over to her because she has a great follow-up. She has an HR business there where she consults with people, HR, and she gives a lot of good, advice and help with that too. So we've kind of basically partnered.
What is the website address? I'm typing it in the question area.
Trustfes.com.
Okay, and we'll also send that out too in an email to everybody as well, so you have that information. At Engaging Learners too, you can also contact us, and we'll get you in touch with the right people. We have a phone number is probably the best place, so we're a little bit old school, so you can also reach us, and we can also get you in contact with the right people as well. And I just included our phone number as well. Okay, so if there are no further questions from folks, we'll send that follow-up email with Melanie's website and our phone number as well. And thank you for all that you do every day on behalf of students. We appreciate everything that teachers, educators, and staff are doing during this crazy time. Yeah, Dave, did you have something else too?
I was just going to say is that if someone is interested, we'll be more than happy to do a demo for them so that they can ask specific questions while we're doing it. We can also put them in touch with the school districts that are using it if they want to get a testimonial from them. They've given us permission for that. So
awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and best wishes as you move forward and keep serving your schools and your students and your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
Bye.
We believe in schools so much.